Free will is a lie. You move through your life with a quiet certainty, a deeply rooted assumption that your choices belong to you, that when you decide, it is you who decides, that your thoughts originate within you, that your actions are the result of your own will. This belief feels undeniable. It feels immediate, personal, and real. But what if this sense of control is not what it appears to be? Consider the moment before a decision is made. A thought arises, an impulse forms, a preference appears. You experience it as something you have created. But did you? You do not choose the thoughts that enter your mind. They arrive unannounced, shaped by memories you did not design, influenced by experiences you did not choose, constructed from a lifetime of conditioning that began before you were even aware of yourself. Your language, your culture, your fears, your desires, all of them were formed long before you ever claimed ownership over them. And yet, they now feel like you. Every decision you make emerges from this foundation. A network of prior causes, biological, psychological, and environmental, working together in ways too complex to consciously observe. Your brain evaluates, filters, and predicts continuously, long before you become aware of the result. By the time you feel like you have made a choice, the process has already unfolded. What you experience as decision may simply be recognition. This is where the illusion begins. You do not see the machinery behind the thought. You only experience its arrival, and because you are aware of it, you assume you are the source of it. But awareness is not authorship. The mind constructs a narrative, a seamless story in which you are the central agent. It tells you that your actions are deliberate, your desires intentional, your path self-directed. This narrative is not necessarily false, but it is incomplete. You are not the author in the way you believe. You are perhaps the observer, the one to whom the story is told. This realization is unsettling, because the idea of free will is not just a concept, it is a foundation. It supports your sense of identity. It gives meaning to responsibility. It creates the belief that you are in control of your life. To question it is to question everything built upon it. If your thoughts arise without your permission, if your desires form without your design, if your decisions emerge from causes beyond your awareness, then what does it mean to choose? This question does not have an easy answer, and that is precisely why it is often avoided. But to explore it is not to become powerless. It is to see more clearly. You may not choose the thoughts that appear in your mind, but you can notice them. You may not control every impulse, but you can observe it without immediately acting on it. And within that observation, something subtle emerges. A space between what arises and what follows. In that space, the illusion begins to shift. Not because you suddenly gain absolute control, but because you are no longer completely identified with every thought. You begin to see patterns, reactions, habits, conditioning unfolding in real time, and this awareness changes your relationship with yourself. You are no longer fully inside the process, you are witnessing it. This does not grant you total freedom, but it grants you perspective, and perspective is transformative. Because once you see how your thoughts arise, they lose some of their authority. Once you recognize patterns, they become less automatic. Once you observe your mind, you are no longer entirely defined by it. So perhaps the question is not whether free will exists in the absolute sense. Perhaps the more meaningful question is this: are you aware of what is shaping your choices? Because what feels like freedom may simply be conditioning you have never examined, and what feels like control may only be familiarity. But the moment you see this clearly, even briefly, something changes. You are no longer moving entirely unconsciously. You are no longer fully absorbed in the narrative. You begin to experience your thoughts rather than blindly follow them. And in that shift, something quiet but profound emerges. Not control, not absolute freedom, but awareness. And awareness may be the closest thing to freedom you will ever know.